Okay, hello everybody. This is Lisa Gilliam, one singing lady. I was waiting because we're going to have actually two special guests today that we're going to talk to on the podcast. But the other person should be joining us shortly. Let me go ahead and introduce my friend from high school, Tracy M.Worley. Say hello to the people, Tracy.
Hello, hello, hello.
We have not have we haven't done a podcast, but we have done a YouTube live, and so
Yes.
this is our, I guess, second round, and we'll probably have another one coming. I'll just wait and introduce the other person when they join. However, if you hear thunder, or I don't know if I jump because I see lightning. It's because it is storming in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area today, and we pre-record the podcast, so you may actually hear it in the background, just so you all know. So I'm excited. This is like the prelude to our second season. We decided to take off for the summer just to reorganize, get some other things done. I moved, decided to stay in the area because I had mentioned a while ago that I had some big news. I was actually going to relocate to Seattle, Washington, and then they wanted me to pay out of my own pocket. It was going to be about $17,000 with relocation expenses, first month's rent, security deposit, etc. Parking, 200 some odd dollars a month. And so I decided to change my mind and stay here. So in the process of that, though, last year my friend and I had the pleasure to, what did we do, Tracy?
What did we do?
What did we do together while we on this podcast?
Oh boy, oh boy. 21 days, 21 days of hard labor.
We wrote a book, y'all. It is called 21 Days, and I'm so excited. Actually, so let me just go ahead and introduce my other guest. We have Amira, sorry, from Journal Joy, and
Yay.
welcome, Amira.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Yes. So we
Oh
were
my
just
goodness.
telling the people that we wrote a book, Tracy and I, and you all, Amira, or Journal Joy, is the person of the company that basically published the book and made sure the editing was done. And so just tell us a little bit. Welcome back to you, Tracy. Amira, tell us a little bit about Journal Joy and your company and how you got started and why you helped us. We're so grateful.
Okay, ladies. Well, thank you so much for inviting me onto your podcast. Very excited to be here. Journal Joy is a Black owned, really a literacy brand. We started out, my children wanted books and pajamas, focusing on literacy and their love for books. And once we hired a company to help us with publishing their books, they were able to publish on Amazon. My kids were very impatient and wanted it in their favorite bookstores, which are Barnes and Nobles and Target. And so mommy stayed up that night till 4 in the morning trying to figure out how to get their books on not only Amazon, but their favorite stores. And we did that. They got the books uploaded and the books came in the mail and they wanted 9 more books. And so nine, I was like, oh my goodness. And so I reached out to the original publisher that helped me get their books on Amazon. And she just pretty much encouraged me and told me that I could do it. She would be there every step of the way to help me, but that I could absolutely publish my kids' books, continue to publish their books, and help other people just like her. And she's been by my side every step of the way. Shout out to Tony from BFF Publishing House in Atlanta. And since then, we have dedicated our time and efforts to helping children of color all around the world, internationally and in the United States, with getting their voices heard, encouraging them to start their own business and write their own books, as well as, women, men, anyone that has a story to share. We love to help them with self-publishing their book. We do not take any royalties from their book. We obviously, do charge to help them, right, with the time that it takes to production, but we support them every step of the way from start to finish. And then once the book is published and online and various platforms, we look to help them with promoting their book. We also, try to extend our support to help them with book signings and whatever we can, really, to help our brothers and sisters with getting their books out there to the world to share their story. And that's our story.
Well, it's a
And it's
great
a fun
story.
ride. It's a fun ride.
It is. I have to give a shout out to my friend Ashley Lockley. She is also a children's author and phenomenal person. We are part of the Stigma Breakers Collective, which basically is a group of individuals that come together to try to break mental health stigmas. And so we met through another mutual friend, Paige. Well, I was about to say Williams. I'm at loss for word for her Lester. She's married now, and so I couldn't think of her last name, but she introduced Ashley and I. Ashley introduced myself to Amira, and I told Tracy about it, and we were on board, and that's the story. And so we are very grateful. I am a songwriter and a poet, and I have multiple CDs, and music is so different than than writing a book and getting published. Even though they're both, publishing and is involved, it's different. There's some similarities, but I'm so glad that you were along the way with, like, on the ride with us, because I don't know that I would have wanted to do all this by myself.
It's our
How
pleasure.
do you feel, Tracy?
I'm grateful. It's like birthing a baby. You start out wondering, what is this happening? Is this really happening? It's happening.
Right.
But she made the process so seamless that
Yes.
I'm just grateful that we decided to work with Journal Joy, and that she decided to work with us.
Yes, absolutely. Which we could talk about that. Tracy and I are going to do another podcast to go a little bit deeper on the topics, but I share pretty much my soul, good, bad, and indifferent. And as a former minister, evangelist, and I say former because I'm not practicing right now, as I continue to heal, um, I stepped down. I took myself off of doing things because I don't feel like you should be a hypocrite, and I need God to heal me, and I'm not out of everything that I did. And I wish more of my brothers and sisters would do that, but that's a whole nother
Mhm.
for another day. Um,
Thanks.
and so in the process of healing, God gave me this idea to do this book. We lost Amara; she'll probably come back.
Okay.
And I'm just excited that it's finally coming to fruition. It's been, almost like a little bit over a year process, but a lot of that has been on our schedules. Tracy and I have very hectic schedules with our jobs. So um,
Yeah.
I'm glad it's been paced out, the way that it's been. Uh, that's been helpful, for me. What about you, Tracy?
I think we're actually paced about where we just started. Um,
Well, we started
yeah.
technically. I don't remember
Okay.
when I asked,
Well, we
you know,
started the entire process in
a lot.
July, and we
Right.
wrapped up in August, and we started about what, 2 weeks or so after that. So yeah,
Okay.
we're about a year and ready to go.
Okay, and I think that also that's part of it is because our book is like chronological. It's we talk about different things that happened in the process. And we we got the title 21 days basically because I'd always heard, it's 21 days to break a habit. Well, y'all, that's really not true. 21 days to start a habit. We're glad that you're back, Amira. And so we realized that it's 21 days to start the process of maybe breaking it. But when things are really deeply embedded and you're used to dealing with them, whether it's good or bad, you're not going to be finished with or healed in 21 days. And so but that's how the title came about. And Amara told it, well, it was a lot more. she said the title was too long. I'm long-winded though. I was a writer before I did anything else. And so I was gracious enough to, concede and, take her wisdom. So we're happy with the title. And hopefully 21 days is intriguing enough to people that they want to find out. I know I have some nosy friends out there that want to know
Mhm.
some some of the things that I went through. So if you want to know, go ahead and support us and get it in the book.
I
So
think in addition to that, Lisa, thinking of 21 days to break a habit, but also 21 days to maybe form a habit or form new habits and new ways of doing things. And that's
mhm,
what I also discovered.
right.
And as they read, they'll learn more about what that process was like. So
Ooh,
yeah, it was
process.
interesting.
And I wish I could tell y'all that I'm like everything is broken. That is not true for me. I
Mhm.
can't speak for Tracy. I can speak for me, but I'm still better than I was
Oh
before
yeah.
this process. And it was definitely kind of stumbled upon. Like I didn't go into it saying, "Hey, let's write a book." It came as we prayed every day. We read, scriptures or like enlightening I don't know, we saw
Mhm.
videos and posts and whatever we could use to this
Devotionals,
process. Yes,
meditations.
yes, so that we could get over the hump.
Yeah.
And men, I'll be honest, that we were dealing with at the time. And so it's been a great process. Like, so Amara, I know, I mean, you had to read the book too, because through the process. Like, what do you think? Is
Mhm.
there any insight that you even receive from us? I mean, I know you're married, family, all that, and we're two single women, but um, do you see, is it anything that you could share from your perspective because you're not looking at it through our lens or our eyes?
I think that the book provides an honest look at two women looking at their life, right?
Mhm.
What specific activities have contributed to how they do things, right? So as a
Mhm.
result, I don't want to give too much information about the book, but I
Yes,
think
we want
that
them to buy the book. So yes.
right, but I think that it is, as people like in the world that we're in today, right? And people are really talking about, self-discovery and loving on yourself and taking care of yourself and having self-care days. And I believe that this book allows discipline, but really for you to be honest and looking at your specific circumstance as it relates to, I don't want to get too deep, your situation, right? And then
Right,
and
right.
committing to it, right? And then you're involving, the higher being to allow prayer and guidance and humility and love, right, to yourself, and how can you get through this, right? What are some things that you've experienced? What are some things you're trying to overcome? And then
Mhm.
still continuing to transition, right, for success, because everyone, you know, we judge ourselves. I think we're very critical of ourselves, and sometimes we really have to love on ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I allowing this to happen, or what could I do differently today that happened yesterday? And I
Right.
think that it's an honest and very transparent reflection of two women, looking at their circumstance, dissecting their circumstance, and holding themselves accountable to a better you. And it's really the transition and the discipline, and it talks about what strategy these two women shared and what they worked through together to accomplish this. And it's not over, right? And I think
So,
that's another thing. Like it's not over. It's a continued process. But yes, I'm married, but it doesn't mean that I haven't experienced this before, right? And at one point, you have to truly look at your circumstance and you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself to say, this is what is okay and this
mm,
is what's not okay. And
Mhm.
these are the things that I need to do
Yeah.
right.
to ensure that this doesn't happen again, right? And so, and even if someone is married, they could be experiencing very similar things that any woman is going through, whether they're single or not single, right? Just
Right.
because you're married doesn't mean that it's just this perfect circumstance, right? You can be married to a perfect person for you, right? But
Mhm.
within that marriage, there could be other things that you guys are trying to work through together, and it could take 21 days to accomplish that.
Right. Right. Or at least start it, as Tracy was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it definitely is a
Mm-hmm.
process. I can just speak honestly, like without going into details though, that because of what I've done, I've been judged by a few of my friends. And that was hurtful because they told me some things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would never go back and be like, like share their business like in a situation like this. But and let me see who really had my back and I'm not saying you should agree. You shouldn't. When you read the book and you see what I did, you should not agree with the behavior, with the actions. They're wrong. I'm wrong. And I've been the first to admit it.
Mhm.
But now I have a greater understanding as to why. And just because even though, yes, I know right from wrong, and I still chose to do wrong, and sometimes still choose, just being honest, to do wrong, I am in therapy because of some things that happened to me in my past, which
Mhm.
now I realize are part of the reasons why I made or allowed the decisions that I made. And it wasn't until writing the book that I was just like, oh my gosh, like Lisa, this
Mhm.
is why you did this. This is why you chose to do that. Never makes it okay, never justifying my actions. But I'm being honest with myself. And it's funny because some of those people, the first thing, like, you getting help? Are you in therapy? If you know me, you know I'm not going to ask anybody else to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So absolutely I am. And just it didn't happen overnight. I'm 49 years old, almost a half a century. Um, some of this stuff happened to me when I was under the age of 5. So it's not going to
Mm,
change overnight either. And I think that,
right,
we expect the people just to be like, it's wrong, stop. Sometimes it's not
right.
just that black and white. And so I'm learning through the process
Mhm.
of what I'm doing, but also not being judgmental of my friends anymore. Because I think that sometimes I was on the other side too. Because some of the stuff can happen to people just because of the situations that they're in. You don't know anybody's story unless you really, you
Mhm.
know, know their story. So
Well, Lisa, what I'll say to that, and I have shared with you on a few occasions when I'm speaking my mind, as you share, none of us comes perfect. None of us
Right.
are perfect people. So we all have challenges. We all have a cross to bear, so to speak. And so that, someone may choose to judge you about that particular instance or situation, but there's something in everybody's life that they struggle with. There's something because we are not all
Right.
perfect people. So I just always bring that up because, we have to spend some time in the mirror. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy to kind of look out the side eye and talk to somebody else about what I see you doing and shake my finger at you. But do you know what's under it? Do you know
right.
what's at the root of it? And not to, like you said, not to justify it, but what's at the root cause of it? Most of the time, there's something under it that caused the fruit from that. So,
Right.
I say all the time, people, and we ain't perfect. We ain't perfect people, but we're trying to be healed people. We're trying to be
Absolutely.
whole and better.
Yep.
And, especially approaching this next half, I'm looking at
Right.
the 50 mark next year. And I mean, I just, for me, I think it's just a part of this journey. And I think that things are done in time. And I think this was just all about timing because this was not planned. None of this was planned. It just
Mm.
kind of came to you. It was given to you. You reached out, and then we went running. And the next thing you know, it's like a book. What? So yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and I'm excited
And
because both of us were writing our own. Mine was going to be an autobiography, and that's not the thing that came out first. I appreciate your honest opinions, Amara. Like, just the things, because some of my stuff, when you're dealing with autobiographies, you're talking about family, and
mm-hmm.
I don't want to be sued. And just a reminder, that hey, if you put this out there, I think it's unfortunate that if you tell your truth, then other people can sue you.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
this was still a way for me to tell my truth. Tracy had the brilliant idea of giving nicknames to
Oh
individuals,
yeah.
which is phenomenal for me. But I didn't want to do that in the autobiography because I felt like that's
Mhm.
truth. I really needed to have names. I was able to pull some of those stories out of that book and put it into this one. And I'm grateful, just really grateful.
Yeah, yeah. The moniker is it's gonna be fun. I think it'll be a fun read unless you figure out who you are.
Exactly. And if you do, oh well, you're part of
Well,
our lives. Everybody didn't make the cut for the book. Like I probably could have been writing for days and days and days, but there was some, every story isn't heartbreak. Every story, we learned some
Oh no,
lessons.
no,
You all are
no.
going to learn some lessons. We also have, questions, just things that we didn't, both of us realized um, that we didn't ask the questions that we needed to ask. And so there's
Might have
some
had a different
people.
outcome. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And even as a
Would
former
have had a different
counselor,
outcome.
I would, I've actually counseled married couples. I've counseled all different types of people. And I talk about that in the book too. And even those people didn't have some of these questions. So it's just like, well, how did you not talk about finances before you got married? Like, where was that?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you don't know if they believe in charitable giving or if they care. Like what you don't talk about any of these things, and so I think there's something for everybody to be able to
Yes.
just dig deeper. And if nothing else, you see some of the questions and you might ask some of your own because they joggle your mind. But I'm excited to. I'm excited and scared. That's what I say to everybody. I'm like, oh, what, everybody's gonna know my stuff, but then I'm also excited because no one can judge me for something that I'm putting out there myself.
No, I always say I'm an open book, but there's some things about the book that, yeah, it's different, and especially being a Christian and being active
Mhm.
in my church community, and I grew up in my church, and it's different, and it's difficult sometimes being vulnerable in that space when you talk
Yeah,
about, I can talk about some of the trauma things that I've experienced, deaths and losing siblings and my parent and different things like that. That's different. But when you start dealing with intimacy and really getting intimate about your heart,
mhm,
those heart issues, man, that's way different.
yeah.
And I was sharing with speaking with one of the persons that are listed in the book, just happened to have a conversation, and I said, oh, by the way, you're in the book. And he said to me, oh, what did you say? He said, uh-oh, what did you say? That I said, nope, I didn't say anything that wasn't true, but I shared from my experience what it was like being in a relationship with you. I shared my experience. So hopefully somebody else will be able to recognize themselves in my story and be able to get out
Right.
and not spend too much like I did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cause I can
Absolutely.
get comfortable and discomfort and take my shoes off, cross my feet and everything and
Right.
sit in stuff too
Right.
long. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna
Right.
be nice.
I'm
Mm.
over forgiving and I will forgive and forgive and forgive and become the doormat and then
Yeah.
it's like I know better. I mean, I've literally helped thousands of people over the years and would not
Mhm.
be didn't help myself. It doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, no, Lisa, you deserve the same things that you offer to other people. But it takes that realization. And I think because we also give foundation, like where we grew up, how we grew up, and maybe why we didn't receive certain things.
Yep.
Um, it's not for people to be sympathetic, but hopefully it'll be empathetic to understanding how we got to the decisions and the actions and the points that we, arrived at. And then also that we recognize it and we're moving forward from that. But, for my friends that are mad at me, I'm sorry. Um, I'm not, trying to do that. I'm not hurting you and your family. That's not the case. And I just say pray for me. Pray that I'll be completely healed, delivered, set free, that I won't have the same, desires or um um response to, what has happened. I'm still learning me because I didn't have time to focus on me because I was too
Mhm.
afraid of my everyday life, what was happening there. I was trying to survive for such a long time, and people don't really or didn't really know how bad things were for me. So now I can finally try to heal, but it's like I said, it's a process. It's definitely a process, but it's one I'm excited about. So yay! So the book, I know we changed the date. That was partly my fault because I was moving. We're looking at September something, right? Do
Yep.
y'all know the actual
September.
date? No.
So
Our
we're gonna be
publisher
September.
knows.
doing, yeah. So can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay, so we are in the final stages of formatting and uploading, and it's a process for perfection. And so these amazing authors keep changing their pictures on me, guys.
I'm
But
so sorry. It's my fault. It's my fault. I will put it
but
out there.
we're pushing for a September pre-sale date. So to be on the safe side with delays and with shipping, I'm thinking maybe September 15th to the 30th. But we
Oh,
will be sending out an email, right, to all your friends and family and podcast subscribers of when, like an announcement, a sneak peek, hey, the book is going to go on pre-sale on this date, and then it'll ship typically 15 to 30 days after that, from whether it's, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Target, Walmart. It's an electronic feed that uploads, but we'll be happy and excited to share out. But our goal is September 30th, for pre-sale and then pushing to actual shipment. So the goal is to get everyone to order the book, to, push up for the bestseller list.
yeah.
Awesome. Yay.
We want
Yay!
that. We definitely want that. So yes, that would be great. I'm excited. I think, yeah, like I said, I have some nosy friends. They want to know. They, want,
Get out. They
they gonna
do.
try. Some of them
Tell
have
them,
already tried to
tell them
guess
to come.
who is this person. Who is this person? I was like, I'm not gonna tell you. It's
Uh-huh.
not. That's the purpose of us not having names. Like, I'm not out here to try
Right.
to hurt anybody. I'm just telling actually
Exactly.
the process of what took place. So,
Yes.
love me or don't, it's okay. I'll
It's
be
all. It's
okay. I will be just fine. God still loves me. I don't know how he does it, but I'm so grateful he does. He still loves me, and
Of
I'm still a work
course.
in progress. So it's coming along. It's coming along. So is there anything that you want to share? Actually, I referred somebody to you yesterday, I think it was. I was like, no, I love my publisher. I actually referred two people. I hope they call you, Amari.
I did
Aw.
as
You tell us
well.
something about Journal
I
Joy.
did get a few calls this week and meetings. So I got three women and two males, that reached
Awesome.
out about various books. So yes, we're getting pretty big. I mean, we've been busy, but I try to be very strategic, right? Because I do accept all, um,
Yeah.
people of color, right, to help share this story. But at this, and I want to say, but in addition, right, I have a team that assists me to ensure that we are giving the level of, time and effort for each book. And so with five people that reached out today and maybe, seven people that reached out last week, we do have a timeline and we're getting a wait list to where, okay, we can't start today, but we can start September 1st. And that allows them time to get all their ducks in a row, make
Mhm.
sure that they work to finishing their draft before sending it to us, because then we would start the editing process, which takes time, and it's 3 rounds of edit. So we want to make sure that we're giving each book the attention that it needs.
Okay. Is it can
And
you
my
just share your information?
Absolutely. So anyone can contact me via phone. We have an 800 number. That number is 888-95 right, like WRITE, or it's 888-959-7483. I am on Instagram and Facebook as Journal Joy Publishing. So JOURNAL Joy Publishing. And that's on Instagram and Facebook, as well as on my website, www.the journal joy.com.
Awesome. And so we'll make sure that that is on the listed on the podcast as well. And then Tracy, did you want to share anything before we go?
No, but definitely no. I will be back and ready to talk.
Awesome. We will do that
Yay!
shortly. We will do that shortly. And you all know you can find me, LisaLGilliam.com. I'm one singing lady, the numeral one on IG, Twitter, TikTok, or Facebook. And if you want to go listen to some videos or watch some videos and listen to some music, you can go to my YouTube page, youtube.com. That is the one singing lady, but spelled out ONESINGINGLADY. And so I'm excited. We're excited. I actually spent time putting up pictures. I do apologize again. I was up all night changing things on my website. Every time I do a photo shoot, I try to upload, different pictures, and I never got around to it. So I did it last night, and just started put the coming soon for the book cover, and I'm just excited that it's
Just
finally
excited.
here. Yes. And, I'm claiming it. We are going to be bestsellers.
Gonna be great.
I'm looking forward to speaking more. Like, I love public speaking and sharing my testimony. And so that brings me joy. So I'm excited for the opportunities. And yep, I don't know. So if you want to bring us to your store for book signing, we are interested in that as well. So
That's right.
Have
And
book
I'll
will
come
travel.
too.
yes,
That's right. Well, thank
absolutely.
you, ladies, for
Thank you.
Thank
inviting me. I
you. Thank
appreciate it.
you,
And I'm so
Lisa.
happy for you, for both
Thank
of you.
you. Thank you so much for being a part. And I will definitely talk to you all soon. You have a great night.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.